Good morning. This is Steve, Kilo Quebec 4, Quebec Whiskey Hotel. Last night there was a discussion about Whisper, and I thought I would share a couple of videos with y'all today. This is the first one of two. This is WSJT-X, and it is an application that a lot of folks use for FT8. And to run, if you have WSJT-X up, it's real easy. You just select mode and just go down and select whisper. Now, I set the, I just leave the defaults. Now, right up here in your waterfall, there's a little red dot there. You want to set that so that you've got, you're transmitting in a free slot where there's not a whole lot of other traffic. You can adjust that right here by moving your transmit up and down, and it'll move that little icon, and that's where you're going to transmit. The red line right here, that's the 2-minute window that my system was transmitting. Now, what I'm transmitting on today is an FT710 running at 5 watts going into a horizontal 80-meter delta loop. This is my first antenna that I had when I got my ham license, and it's been up a little over 2 years. Real happy with the antenna, and its performance is really good. It's a strong NVIS antenna, um, but I map all my antennas using Whisper. This has been running for right at an hour, and so it transmits and then it listens for, I believe, 6 minutes or 3 cycles, and then it transmits for 2, then it listens for 3. And I've just pretty much left the defaults for most everything. But as I said, I have it set for 5 watts, and that's what the radio is putting out. Now, the way to determine um, what is actually happening is to use websites. Now, this one is PSK Reporter, um, which is pskreporter.info, and I selected the band, signals sent and received by me, call sign, selected the mode for whisper, and I set 2 hours. I've been running for a little over an hour, and it's going to show, and let's do sent by me. Okay, no real change. Um, there's one shooting off here to the left. That's actually going to Australia, but it gives you an idea of what your signal strengths are and where you're actually reaching. Keep in mind that, especially like in the United States, I'm getting a lot of stations on the East Coast, the eastern half of the country, and that's because population densities are higher, there's more hams, there's more whisper stations listening. I don't have anything going out to the southeast because, quite frankly, there's not a whole lot of folks there. Now, daytime, 40 meters, not the best band, not the best time of day for it. Um, but I've left Whisper running all night long, and it really fills in the map. Excuse me, and will give you an idea of how your antenna is doing. My other antenna is a 7510 end-fed half wave. It was actually installed to be stronger west. The um, the delta loop is stronger to the northeast. And so normally, if I was doing this on 20 meters, I'd have a lot of hits in Europe as well as out west. But so it gives you an idea of where you're going and who's being heard. Now, there is a website that I discovered some time ago. called Whisper Lab, and I'll include um, the URL for this website. You put in your call sign. It has the ability to compare you and another station. I haven't really messed with this, but let's say that two of you have the same antenna, similar kind of installations, or you have different installations. You can put your call sign in, and you can put their call sign in, and it'll compare the two. Select the band, select the time period, and you can update the dashboard. Now, this gives my signal to noise ratio over time going out. This observed signal coverage, this is really designed for beam antennas. And because I'm running a delta loop, and even for an in-fed half wave or a vertical, you can use this. I found that if I set the beam width at 25%, it gives me a good indication of what the radiation pattern is. And you can see that I'm getting a lot more out to the northeast than I am out to the west. So it's a good visual representation showing the signal strengths and what the directions are going. Now I find this to be a really, really useful tool. This shows my signal to noise ratio compared to distance. Now the horizontal 80-meter delta loop is a very strong NVIS antenna. So from 1,400 kilometers on back is a lot stronger and a lot more hits. And then you can see that you can actually see the hops from your antenna and how it performs. And then all the way out here, we've got Australia, um, all the way out here on the end. Now, just like PSK Reporter shows, it shows me a map of where it's I'm being received, and then you can go down and look down the list. Now, on the receive side, you can do a receive analysis, and this looks at the reports of the whispers that you've received and what their signal strengths are. So you can see again that I'm receiving a lot from out west, but they might be sending more power. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns, but it gives you an idea of radiation patterns. And again, I'm receiving at much shorter distances than I'm actually transmitting. So it's it gives you a real interesting analysis, and this map is showing the stations that I am receiving. And this was a 1 hour whisper run. Um, if you run it for like I've done in the past, I'll set it up and run it before I go to bed, especially on 40 meters. Um, and I've also set it up and let it run during the day. If I'm going to be gone all day long, I'll just set up Whisper and let it run, and then do a long time analysis on it. So just wanted to give you a kind of a peek at Whisper, and hopefully this will show you a little more on how it works. Thanks a lot. Kilo Quebec 4, Quebec Whiskey Hotel, 73s.